actually going to outperform in that area. And if it gets undervalued by people selling it off immediately after that earnings report, I think that's an awesome place to be stepping in and buying it, those shares.
You, Joe, you're the innocent bystander here. You don't own this name. First, tell us why and what you think happens this evening.
So I can tell you that I have been, over the last week or so, very engaged in looking at what's going on with Amazon, and in fact why we don't own Amazon. We sold it out of the ETF in July of 2022. And the reasons that we sold it are we saw a significant deterioration in the return on equity, the debt to equity, the quality of the balance sheet. I think you would agree with that. You also, that was concurrent with the cash cow also seeing the deceleration, and that's AWS. I think Steph is going to be right on this name, and I think the reason she's going to be right on the name is you're beginning to see the improvement on return to equity. You're beginning to see the improvement on debt to equity. And the reason for that is because AWS might have troughed. And that is the integral indicator tonight. If you could see a 15 print on AWS growth this evening, 15%, I think you're in a great position, and I think it moves significantly higher from there.
All right, and you said yeah, Malcolm, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I would just add to the point about AWS troughing. Of all of the mega cap techs that are participating in the AI arms race right now, Amazon has the least to lose and the most to gain. So if they do figure out a way to communicate to us how they're going to profit off of the $4 billion investment into Anthropic and everything else they've done to make themselves the everything store of AI, that is ultimately going to supersede anyone's expectations, because we haven't really been talking about Amazon in that way in the AI arms race in some time.
Yeah, I love the point you made. It's a perfect segue. I was going to ask you about that. Generative AI, the Anthropic investment, Malcolm so perfectly brings up for us. How about that?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit for the company. And I don't think that they get the credit, to be honest with you. I think they're kind of on the back burner there. But I think there's huge upside there. But again, I think right now, the near term, the stock trades on AWS and on the margins on retail, period. End of discussion. If anything comes out on AI, generative AI, that's great, icing on the cake. But we don't need that right at this very moment, because it is a longer term story for the company.
We turn our attention now to Meta. I mentioned your history in the name. It was about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago.